course, we're talking about the race for county exec, where two-term incumbent Rob Astorino, the Republican, facing that against Democratic State Senator George Latimer. We're also joined by former Suffolk County Executive Steve Levy. He, a Democrat who switched parties when he ran for governor. And Astorino has not won once, he's won twice here and possibly a third term. Some say it's the quality of the competition. Other people say that, you know, as long as you keep property taxes, that's the only thing that matters in these races. What do you think's up here?
Well, I served with Rob Astorino when I was Suffolk County Executive. He had just come in as Westchester County Executive. And I found him to be very impressive in that he had a strong ideological core. He said he was going to make property taxes his #1 priority, and he carried it out. I mean, it's a pretty tough thing to do, I can tell you, as having been a county executive. The problem he's got this year, not to say he can't win, but the reason it's more difficult, #1, you're going against a state senator, as the case in Nassau County, where you have Jack Martins, a state senator. That area is huge. It encompasses a third, a quarter of the entire county. People know that person. He's been giving out member items. He's been going to Eagle Scouts, so that's a known quantity. Secondly, look at the year. 2009 is when he first won. Got reelected in 2013. Very good Republican years. Obama won in 08. You had the backlash with the Tea Party starting to ferment in 09. You had the same thing after 12. The party in power is going to lose the following year. Now it's reversed. We have Republicans in power in the White House. There's a natural reaction to that, which should mean more Democrats come to the polls. But we'll see. You know, you can't just automatically re-trigger that minority, college kid, young females to come out as Obama did. It doesn't necessarily always translate. We'll have to see tonight.
That's whether the state should hold a constitutional convention in 2019.
I'm for it with caveats. I mean, the governor had said he was for it with caveats. Yeah. No, but the caveat is who is going to be elected as these delegates. You know, there's a great risk of having it, because if the same guys from the cesspool in Albany are there controlling the convention, what have you gained? On the other hand, this is why I'm for it, despite the possible negatives. It's the only chance we have if you really want reform. If you think you're going to get redistricting reform from the guys in Albany, it ain't happening.
Right.
If you think you're getting term limits, it ain't happening. Closing the LLC loopholes for campaign contributions, it's not happening. Spending caps, it's not happening. This is the only chance in hell we'll ever have to get these kind of reforms through. There's a big risk in doing it, but I'll roll the dice because we're going off a cliff now, and those guys in Albany are not going to turn it around. Maybe the people can if this were to pass, but I'm not confident it's going to happen. Why are these special interests so adamantly opposed to the Constitutional Convention? Because they control the system now. They control the guys in Albany now. Hey, we've got these guys in our pocket. Why do we want to rock the boat?
You're going to bite, you're going to react, don't do it, because I got to go to a break. The race for county executive has Democrat Laura Curran against Republican Jack Martins. What's your sense, Steve, in terms of what will decide this thing one way or the other? We talked about turnout being key. Obviously, that'll be important here. What else?
Well, let's preface this by noting Nassau and Suffolk counties gave Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan their biggest pluralities in the nation going back during those eras. Things have changed substantially with the demographic shifts. Far fewer white voters, far more minority voters. Nassau actually has more Democrats now than Republicans, but it's very, very close. It'll be interesting to watch here not just who wins the county executive position, but who wins the legislature. Curran wants to win with a Democratic legislature, and Martins wants to keep that one vote majority. What's going to matter? It's all about the turnout. Again, Martins has been able to, a certain degree, been able to divorce himself from many of the controversies that are going on right now, all on the Republican side. The present county executive under indictment, the present head of former supervisor of Oyster Bay under indictment. Dean Skelos, of course, was convicted, and then it was overturned. The town of Hempstead, the biggest town in the nation, all Republican control, but they're fighting like cats and dogs. But
do you think his perceived flip-flop, I think it's more the perception, about his answer on property taxes and what he would do and not do as a sort of nod here to get a union endorsement that for some they're going to say, Wait a minute. You can do whatever you do and whatever public figure, but if you're screwing around property taxes, that's a different animal.
Yeah, but there's still the overall perception, at least by the average voter within Nassau County, that the Republican side is going to do a better job on the property tax issue. Now, it doesn't always happen that way. Just
Right.
look at, Tom Galata brought them into near collapse. But Mangano, for all his flaws or his, his positives, he kept the lid on property taxes for all these years. And that, like in Westchester County, continues to be issue number one. So you have property taxes on the one hand, some folks wanting a clean slate, a clean sweep, and that would benefit Curran. We'll see.
But why is it that in Suffolk, just like in Nassau, voters aren't seeming to hold the parties responsible or seeming to hold the individuals who are in those
Well,
parties?
let me give you some very interesting backdrop on this as quickly as I can. You had the DA, Tom Spoda, who was cross-endorsed for the last 3 or 4 elections. You had the former sheriff, Vincent DeMarco, a conservative, cross-endorsed by all the different folks. So DeMarco gets the boot from the conservatives because he testified against Ed Walsh, who was the
Right.
Conservative Party leader. The conservative leaders now want to punish DeMarco. He goes out. So they get together with the Democrats and say, look, we'll give you the nod for your DA candidate. You give us the nod for our sheriff candidate so we can keep the patronage going. But something interceded. This fellow, Larry Zacharis, ran against Senator Phil Boyle, who was picked by the conservatives and the Democrats to continue that pattern. Zacharis won in a shocker, so it turned everything upside down. We'll have to see if he's able to parlay that into a general election victory tonight. Watch out for the name Cassandra Lems. Who is that? She's a Green Party candidate for county executive in Nassau. If these guys are 50.1, 49.9, she could make the difference.
she
in this.
figures
She'll
she'll
pull
steal
from
from the
Curran.
Democrats.
She'll
Yeah,
steal
exactly.
from the Democrats.
Do you think this time he's going to learn after, I don't know, a record of 0-12 to stop picking fights with Cuomo? Can we at least...
Oh, he didn't pick the fights with Cuomo.
Oh, he picked a few. When he,
He
when
picked
he
a couple
ran
of
off to
them.
vacation, he
Cuomo,
decided to
he's
go throw.
emboldened. He's emboldened.
Oh,
Listen,
God.
He may
Cuomo
run
has
for
to
governor.
become more like de Blasio these days than de Blasio like Cuomo. Remember, Cuomo...
I've never heard this before.
Look, Cuomo
Oh, no,
tried to be the
absolutely.
moderate in the first year or two, okay? And he built up some bona fides with the, independent crowd. He got his head handed to him by the Working Families Party, Zephyr Teachout, who scared the bejesus out of him. You can see no distance now between Andrew Cuomo and the Working Families Party. He's become more of de Blasio than de Blasio has of
De Blasio
him.
was talking about running for governor.
De
Which you're
Blasio's
gonna hear
only
a lot about
feel,
next week.
the only way you can get a guy like de Blasio out was from the left, and that was not going to happen.
But wait, would you guys, I know it's all convenient now, you guys really told me that 15 months ago that there wouldn't be one credible challenger to Bill de Blasio? It's
that
amazing.
shows you how left the city and the base of the
to
Democratic
that
Party
point,
have
though,
become.
Then what happened to Mike Bloomberg?
That was Mike Bloomberg benefited from Mayor Giuliani, who transformed the city. And
In
he was
his
his
last
endorsed candidate, and
couple
he
of
still
races,
just
Steve,
barely won.
This will
Sometimes
kill
it's
me.
better to be lucky
But
than good.
You could have done that job and shown up 2 days a week, even with your sunny disposition, and done just as well as de Blasio did.
Is this a compliment?
Yeah, no, you don't know what to do right
This is-
now.
To do as well as de Blasio does not strike me as being a compliment from Richard
As
French.
I said, sometimes it's important to be good, but it's also important to be lucky. David Dinkins had no luck. He came in at a time where the economy was terrible, crime was out of control. De Blasio came in where he benefited by the reforms of Giuliani that brought the crime rate down, and you can't deny that. And the economy,
can a little bit,
no
yeah.
way, no way. That
Look at the
crime rate
numbers.
was down specifically because of the measures
They
from.
couldn't wait to
also
get
down
rid of him
nationwide.
until
But
9/11 happened.
Nothing. It went down nationwide, but nothing like New
I
York
gotta
City.
hit this
Nothing
break.
like-